Good morning. Hello again, and welcome to Jeremy Knows. Hello, good morning, and hello again, and welcome to the show, my friends. I'd like to welcome you again. Hey, Cindy. Thanks for listening to this recording. This is going to be a two-part spaces. We're going to be doing a VeeFriends update, followed by a building in public session. Really looking forward to today, and I'm glad that you're with us. So, pardon me, I'm just a bit distracted. I needed to delete a bit of my recording history so that this stream can be recorded. Hopefully that worked. All right. Hey, Yeet Street and Poker Phase on YouTube. So, two parts today. So, I'm going to kick off with an Anchor podcast recording to start on some major developments we've got on VCon. And then we're going to roll into a building in public spaces where we'll just check in with the project, where things are at, and heading into our launch tomorrow, which is incredibly exciting. As most things, it comes sooner than you expect, but I think we're ready for it. There's some crossing the T's and dotting the I's to do today, and I'll also probably share the FAQ and stuff that we've been building to get your feedback on that. And away we go. So I'm also streaming on Twitch and YouTube. If you want to see my pretty face, you're welcome to do that as well. The replay is on YouTube. The live is on twitch.tv/VeeFriends. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Oh, the OGs know what that's about. Good morning. Hello again. Thanks for tuning into the Jeremy Knows podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy the Heart Trooper number 7. Should I put on my radio voice? In today's episode, Gary does numbers on Twitter. VCon makes moves as the crypto market takes a dive and UST depegs from its $1 stablecoin value. What will happen next? Stick around and find out. But for real, I appreciate your time and attention here. I want to give you a look at some of the sneak peeks behind the curtain that we've gotten from VCon in the last couple moments. I'm not going to be talking extensively about the correction that we're experiencing in the markets right now, but I do find it reassuring. And there is a moment from Gary Vee that I want to highlight. I find it reassuring that in a moment of turbulence in the market, which is to be expected, that Gary at the helm of VeeFriends is not slowing down, but instead doubling down, speeding up, and building this intellectual property. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Awesome. So Gary does numbers on Twitter. I haven't been able to listen back to all of these Twitter spaces, but I would highly encourage you, if you're taking a jog or walking the dog or on a long drive, to check these out. First, Gary appeared in the VDAO Twitter spaces. We were very honored to host him. We got to share a lot about what the VDAO has been up to, as well as tell him our book game strategy. We were able to give a few minutes to holders to ask their questions directly. And there was a bit of alpha, just some speed round questions, some fun, some serious. A couple takeaways for me. I mean, in a practical sense, the Toy Keto toys that we've been seeing for a while, they won't be available at VCon. I was kind of hopeful that they would, and Toy Keto retweeted that tweet, but he said no. Could be a misdirection. He might be saving the surprise, but he did say no. I did ask him, however, and I think you'll be interested in this, about staking. And His response was, I posed the question in that, is staking, for context, in the Discord, he was asked, it would be very cool to see VeeFriends implement some kind of staking. And he replied to that message with a winking emoji. So I brought that up and I said, is that in the bucket of everything is possible or in a bucket of actually in the plan? Because when it comes to the possibilities of where VeeFriends can live, Gary has famously said he's going to try everything. And I wanted to get a little clarity because that sort of tokenomics deployment or strategy drives a lot of attention, drives a lot of demand. And his answer was essentially that it's more the second bucket, that it actually is in the plan, but it's not set to a timeline. It's not something that he wants to rush into. He spoke about it as a really profound way of rewarding longevity in the project and rewarding the community for holding, and that he actually thinks about it a lot more than he thinks the community thinks. So take that for what you will. And I wanted to play you this bit where you may have missed this, but recently Gary purchased a big three team. I'm not really up to date or have the context to tell you, but this is the announcement. It says today, the big three announced that serial entrepreneur and investor Gary Vaynerchuk has agreed to purchase 25 fire tier editions of the 2019 championship winning triplets, receiving ownership like value and utility in the team. This purchase follows the recent announcement that NFT community DeGods has also purchased all 25 fire tier editions of Killer Threes, and Vaynerchuk's NFT project of VeeFriends, which has generated $153 million in trading. So the big three is a basketball league. Gary Vee said, basketball is one of my favorite sports in the world. I've been incredibly impressed with the pop culture relevance of the big three league over the last several months. I've been able to get closer with Cube and the rest of the team, and I'm extremely excited about the impact of the blockchain on professional sports. All of those ingredients create a scenario where I'm excited to join this incredible league. He partnered with Ice Cube, who's the co-founder of Big Three. Ice Cube said, we're excited to welcome Gary to the team. As a league that organizes around fans rather than cities, we know that his natural expertise in community building is a huge asset. His VeeFriends community is one of the most active in existence right now. This league continues to push the boundaries of what a sports league can be. And in Gary, we found someone who shares the same mindset and sees that vision. He is equally innovative, forward-thinking, and quick to embrace change. And we know he will be an ideal partner for the triplets. So one of our holders who got to ask a question of Gary Vee asked about this. And I think I love the way that he, instead of giving more context to this specific purchase, offered a more global look at what he's up to. So I'll play it for you now.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, so I have kind of a two-part quick question. First off, is there any alpha you can give us around VeeFriends and Big Three with the triplets?
A lot of the big behaviors that I'm looking to do are like a purchase of the triplets is to find ways to do creative integrations and bring value to VF1 especially, and then at times two. And so nothing specific, but pretty much all my business behaviors going forward will always have VeeFriends in mind.
Nice, wonderful, thank you.
So I think that's a pretty profound statement, and it means more to me today on a day when crypto markets across the board are down 10, 15, 25, some 50%, depending on the token you're looking at. And later in the Discord, he posted this message that I think is, among all of the VCon announcements that I still have to share, I think is actually the biggest, it's not news, but it's the biggest reminder, especially if you're new to VeeFriends, or if you're new to Gary Vee and you're not aware of the kind of operator who's at the helm of this thing. He said in the Discord, and he tagged everyone, he said, there will be huge opportunity for VeeFriends during these moments. A lot of things will pop up for me to make moves on for us. So I really want to drive that home. A lot of things will pop up for me to make moves on for us. And if you aren't aware, previous to VeeFriends, although there was an iteration of VeeFriends that were going to be like workplace desk toys to remind people about their passions and about their ambitions and about their tenacity, called Workplace Warriors, there was a previous narrative that is being integrated into VeeFriends, in which Gary spoke about buying dying brands on the cheap. Think Kellogg's, think Beanie Babies, think Adidas or whatever you have. Not to say all those brands are dying or dead, but brands that are underpriced. Build them through his marketing Death Star, that is VaynerMedia, now VaynerX, and then sell them once their profit and revenue has gotten to a point where someone would like to just straight up buy that business, and then roll those profits into his eventual goal of buying the New York Jets. And a lot of us saw this early on, and he's confirmed it in interviews that pursuit of buying dying brands, innovating within them, revitalizing them, and selling them is still in the works, but now in tandem with the 268, now 283 VeeFriends characters and brands that he has created. So when he says a lot of big opportunities are coming in times like this, he's speaking about the fact that across the board, there are verticals and businesses and individuals that are over leveraged, that are in need of liquidity. And because he's holding cash and because he has the network he has, he can make moves, make deals, acquire entire companies, and funnel that value in one way or another into the VeeFriends LLC and further to VeeFriends holders. And I think that's incredibly bullish, and it's important to share. So the main thing on everybody's minds in VeeFriends is VeeCon. Today is Tuesday, May the 10th. We are just over a week away, and more information is coming out. If you have an Apple phone, you can actually go to the App Store right now and see the VeeCon ticketing app. I would stop you from downloading it. I would await an announcement in the Discord to actually download this app. It is, for all I know, it's safe to download. It's the official VeeCon app, but it's not completed yet. But we are seeing some really fun details that we wanted to see. So beyond being the mobile app that will verify your ticket, it does have detailed information about the programming of things, who's speaking on what and where at what times, which is so useful. You can build your own calendar within the app. One feature that I hadn't heard anybody talking about that I'm very excited to see them integrate is actually a contact sharing feature. So when you sign up, you can complete your contact. You can share whichever pieces of information you want, whether it's email, phone number, Twitter, Discord, name, etc. You can, by all means, use an alias or do what you want. And through scanning or sharing a QR code that's built into the app, you can collect people's contacts and they'll all be registered within the VeeCon app. Really simple and clean integration, and is going to save a lot of time, a lot of like safety concerns about like, what am I scanning and all the rest. So huge ups to the team for integrating that. Furthermore, with VeeCon experiences and activities specifically, we're getting more details about how the partners that they've announced are actually going to play a role. So Bibigo, which is a Korean food brand, they're going to have a happy hour. They're going to be providing the food for the happy hour from 5 to 7 at Club Purple. And it says here in their Instagram post, you can enjoy the skyline views of downtown Minneapolis. They posted a little menu with bao buns and fried rice and wontons. Coinbase has been announced to be partnering the VeeCon Coinbase Club. It's on the field, and not entirely clear what the activity is, but I think it's just another rendezvous point. There will be open sessions on the Coinbase Club stage on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A little detail here that will interest you, it interested me at least, is that it says here that this is brought to you by Coinbase Wallet. the official wallet of VeeCon. So I personally don't use a Coinbase wallet for my NFTs, but it may be in your interest to set up a Coinbase wallet ahead of VeeCon, as there might be um, unique or special airdrops that are only available to those who are using the official VeeCon, the Coinbase wallet, the official wallet of VeeCon. I'm sure more details will come out about that, but it's free to sign up. There's no harm in really having another wallet. So I think it's probably a really low risk way of opening yourself up to more reward. Next up, we got an announcement from Gala Games. It won't surprise you that they're having a gaming lounge bar. This looks to be on like the terrace level of the stadium. They've got a bunch of tables that they're showing in this video, and I think it is exactly what it is. It's a gaming and lounge bar. Next up, we have the VeeCon Saturday Happy Hour hosted by Johnny Walker in the Whiskey Lounge. That is going to be Saturday, the evening of 5/21 from 5 to 7 p.m. also at Club Purple, same place where the Bibigo food will be. As well as we got an announcement from Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan, within the same subsidiary that is Johnny Walker, says here there will be a Captain on Ice night, a happy hour that is truly off the blockchain with icy cocktails and access to a limited Captain Morgan Ben Baller POAP and a couple other exclusive drops. So that will be Friday night, the previous night, the first night of VeeCon, 5 to 7. So I'll remind you that the rough outline of programming for VeeCon is Thursday, 5 p.m. It begins with the welcome party at the Commons, followed by the first full day check-in starting at 8, programming starting at 9:30 with Gary's keynote, Good Morning VeeCon, up until 5. Then we'll have that happy hour, this Captain Morgan event, followed by concert and entertainment. Saturday will be the same schedule, check-in at 8, programming at 9:30 until 5, happy hour this time on Saturday night with Johnny Walker, and then followed by entertainment. There are post-conference events that I will gather together and share with you, but just focusing on the conference itself, Sunday will start, I believe, at 10 a.m. with a pancake brunch, and programming will go up until 3, with the conference ultimately closing at 4. I haven't seen it myself, but I did hear someone say in the VeeCon app that there was evidence of breakfast being provided at the conference. So it may be that breakfast and happy hour appetizers will be provided, and maybe just lunch is to be paid for by participants. I think that the food situation can wait for another time, but I will bring that to you as soon as I can. The last thing in terms of partnerships is the flea market. So Gary's shared for some time that he wants to be able to like trade collectibles and have sort of the garage sale environment that he loves present at VeeCon. And it was announced this week that Rally Road, the company which sells fractional shares of very expensive physical goods and now also digital goods, will be sponsoring the flea market. And they've released these couple of items that they'll have. They have a Triceratops skull, which I believe you can buy fractional shares of. They have a 94 Lamborghini Diablo and a 2016 hardwood piece that's signed by Kobe Bryant, all the more valuable after his untimely death. So that's really remarkable. It says here there are a lot more collectibles and things that Rally will be presenting at the flea market. I imagine that's where all of the vendors that we saw apply a month or two ago will set up shop, and it'll be very interesting. And there's still many more sponsors that we haven't heard from. So there's Cameo Pass, Ledger, Boardroom.tv, Candy Digital, and Chipotle, and Coach, and Immutable X, and Gymshark, and Version 1, and Whim. So I'm sure the good times will keep on rolling. One more thing I want to share with you is one of a VeeCon partner is presenting a VCon concert, of which the headliner is TLC. There is a free to claim Tezos NFT that is TLC branded, that you can claim now. I'll leave the link in the podcast show notes. It's this interesting like image of the band in this like gold finish. It's free to claim. You do have to sign up on their platform and provide some information, but otherwise it just costs time. And that's the show. I didn't mention the other Twitter Spaces that Gary was on yesterday. He did one with 8-Bit, which is an old friend of his who's launching a project that's doing well. He also was on with Lisa Bilyeu, just speaking about confidence and actualization, and I believe her new book, which just came out. And then the one that I'm most excited to listen back to was a Spaces with his brother AJV, speaking about Vayner Sports Pass. I wasn't able to hear it, but the response that I saw on Twitter about just like the real sports talk, but also like the tone of the space. I don't know. I'm not sure how to describe it. There were just a lot of good feelings about like these two being together, sharing their passion for sports, and also probably some of their sentiment for the market today. Gary came into the Discord. Let me just quickly get you this quote, because I think it also is very telling of how he views the state of things as they are right now. He said, "If people listen carefully to that talk we had, everyone, and I mean everyone, would not be confused on what's gonna happen." And I don't think tongue in cheek is the right word, but Gary often uses this phrase of like, people are confused. People not understanding how these brands as VeeFriends are going to be built out, or what he's doing. People are confused. And I know that turns some people off. And I think maybe it's a euphemism for a whole like set of ideas that he has about people being impatient or otherwise like not seeing the value in time in the market. But clearly spending time with his brother, knowing what they know, what they're building, he feels all the more confident in his mission to make VeeFriends a international intellectual property that affects billions and not millions. So it's a bullish day for VeeFriends. I know the market is down. I hope that you're doing well as well can be. I'll bring you the updates on things as they roll out. The VCon ticketing app should get announced at some point later today. Keep an eye on Discord. I'll post it on Twitter and Instagram. And that's my part for today. So this has been sort of a look at Gary's media junket yesterday and a lot of partnership updates from VCon on the Jeremy Knows podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, the Heart Trooper number 7. I appreciate your time and attention as always, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bada bing, bada boom. Good stuff. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you got some value out of that. Thank you, Jaya. So, good stuff. I'll be posting this shortly. While I have you all here, yeah, Ash is coming up. That's great. While I have you all here, there's a few things on the docket for Ash and I today, and we'll go through them. If you haven't been at one of these building in public spaces, this is just like a progress meeting that Ash and I would otherwise have to make sure that the project is on track. And we're having it on Spaces for transparency, accountability, and also so that anybody who wants to can contribute and share their point of view. One of the main things that came up yesterday as Ash and I were texting on WhatsApp is the market is very different than it was when we were doing some rough financial models just a week or two ago. And when ETH was at $3,000, I was running projections at 2750, both to hedge against the price of ETH, but also to hedge against how much needs to be set aside to pay sales tax or other things, which we may be able to skirt by establishing in Delaware or Michigan. And we're we're looking at those options. But either way, considering that 45% of the proceeds are going to be paid to me as an annual salary, I will still have to pay income tax in the state that I'm in. So, tax is an important factor to keep in mind for all of these things. But as it was, 0.055 ETH amounted to some $150. And now that same 0.055 ETH is closer to 115, maybe today 120. And so Ash and I were sort of discussing, like, if we should adapt to the market and raise the price to make sure that we have, so to make sure that we're not making our margin to cover the cost of running the SMS text service and the other things we want to do even slimmer. So I'd really love to engage that in conversation. I don't know if people feel comfortable coming up and sharing. You can also DM me or tweet at me. Ultimately, it's the difference between like 0.055 and 0.075. But I think I guess I just take it seriously making a change like that, considering that for the last few weeks I've been talking about 0.055. So just sharing that context, and we'll discuss that and then go through the other items. If you want to stick around, I really appreciate it. And otherwise, have a great day. So, hey, Ash, thanks for being here. Good evening. Thanks. Yeah, I felt it. It was a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Great. I got in touch with Marcelo. He was off the grid for the last couple days. That's why I wasn't hearing from him. He's driving right now and is available to do all of the website build tonight. So he and I are going to have a call after this Spaces, and I'm going to give him an update, and then we're going to substitute the media and build out the website tonight. Should be launched by 10 or 11 p.m. At least in a rough draft. And the testnet contract is deployed. It's just got a placeholder artwork, but everything works fine. I actually talked with Rax, who designed the contract, about coming on, probably not before launch because it just doesn't need to be rushed, but just for everyone's edification, having him come on and sort of walk through the contract and share like what this piece of code does, and like what this action is, and why this action is here and this action is here, and like the schematics of it. I think that'll be really useful for people, and he was excited about that. I've been building out the Notion page that I sent you. I would say it's 60% done. And let me actually share this out on Twitter so people can take a look and provide feedback. This Notion is a draft. Looking for feedback. Yes, we will get a better, shorter link. So this Notion page, just coming back to it. Sorry, I'm going in a couple different places. I think the biggest thing that also needs to happen today, Ash, is like, I need to determine a name for this thing. I don't know if it's decision fatigue or if I'm like worried about the immutable nature of the blockchain, but it's just been very funny. But so as far as the Notion page, I would say the FAQ is pretty solid. another question did dawn on me on my walk this morning. I'm sure it'll come back to me at the right time. I kept the utility very, very simple. I put a brief timeline, which is nice because as things get added to it, we can add to it easily. I think what's missing here is um, details about the team, the people who have contributed to it, and the breakdown uh, of the roadmap, as it were, which is really more of like the funding allocation. Like I have here the 55-45, but want to break down, and I have a template which I found on Notion that I think will be useful. But just like if of the first, if we only mint 500, how is that money used? If we start to like break expectations and break 1,000, break 2,000, like how will that money be deployed? So that's what the roadmap page is for, but it's just a template right now. And what else? I looked at the terms of service you sent me. I think it's a good start. I want to look at more existing terms of service and sort of piece some things together. Just to like cover the bases. In I think more like VSP. I'd rather have more than less. You know. Um. Yeah. They don't. Th- wow, that's super surprising. I would I would think that terms of service was kind of like the a very basic checkbox. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I think in terms of that, it's like if we don't have a terms of service, or if we have a slim terms of service, then more of the information needs to be in the token itself, like kind of the way VeeFriends has. Like this token is, admission for this many years, and these are different details about it. Um, which is an option. I kind of would prefer to keep the metadata simple, but perhaps there's a both situation of meeting in the middle where the terms of service is more simple, like the Board Ape Yacht Club that you sent me, and the metadata describes the nature of the utility. I mean, the other thing that works to our benefit is we can substitute the metadata, or we can update it as needed. Um, so um, so we have that. If we decide to put the terms of service into the metadata after the fact, we can also do that. No, it does not. Sure. Sure. Yeah, I think that's right. I think we don't need to get really too much in the weeds here. It can be. I mean, I want to have something at launch, but I think you're right that it can be a little less formal than some of these um, multi-million dollar businesses that are dealing with a lot more people. Um, yeah, let's start there, and I'll take a finer look and maybe pull a couple things here and there. Um, s- s- Speaking of like the must execute today is the incorporation, um, and the things associated with it. Um, I I actually let me reach out to him now. Um, um, okay. Just reached out to him for his opinion on uh, Michigan versus Delaware. Yes, yes, and I have them in the. I'm still undecided on the actual artwork itself, but as far as like the website and the logo and the front facing design, that's all good. And that's what Marcelo is going to put on the website tonight. Um, I've kind of given myself some forgiveness in that like we can do a reveal at any point, after the mint, during the mint, whatever. So, but I got another piece back from Karuncho and I like it, but I don't love it, and I'm I'm at odds with not loving it. I don't know if I sent this to you, but I'll send it to you now. Uh, yeah, I don't know why. It just like I like it conceptually. It just feels a little flat for an NFT. It's hard for me to describe. Yeah, I just said that like I'm a little at odds with um with liking the design and the concept of it. I just sent it to you on WhatsApp, but it just feels a little flat for an NFT and I can't really nail why. You know what I mean? I don't know. I actually like the background more than the hat. I think it has to do that he took the contour of the logo and lost like if I didn't know this was a hat, I'm not sure I would know it's a hat. Um, but I also think yeah, I also think that like the dude just had a baby and he's got a lot of more important things to do and I may just I may just move on and thank him for his time and give him a nominal thank you payment cuz yeah. 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 Yeah, I agree. I agree. Which one? Oh, the 137 article. No, no, I haven't done it. Yeah. I have a feeling so there's actually a 137 physical location that's opening here in New York City. I don't know if he's local and I'll see him there or if I'll see him at VCon, but I have a feeling it's something I should do like on my flight to VCon. Once this is launched, once I've had a little space from it, once like you know, um, I should be able to do it regardless and just sit down and knock it out, but I haven't. So that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, no, that's fine. Yeah, so I mean it really so for me it's two things like the bum, bum, bum. No, no, that's fine. Yeah, so I mean it really so for me it's two things like the bum, 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 the the properties themselves I think are very simple. I sent you the
Link.
I sent you the testnet
Yep.
version.
Saw it.
So I think Gen Zero is good. Core membership is good. Um, I like this idea of token of gratitude.
Mhm.
There's like it's like it's like maybe a little counterintuitive that you have to pay for a token of gratitude, but I think it sets a good ethos for the token.
Yep.
So then where I come to odds with it is like so many people have told me to like ensure that the brand name Jeremy knows is in the title of the token itself, which I recognize is like a simple and good idea. So
I
so I
agree.
don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
See,
Because like having like JK, having like JK token of gratitude or Gen Zero or I don't know. I'm
so
a little like eh.
so I'll give you two perspectives. See, I get why you're coming from the token of gratitude perspective because that is something which you're genuinely grateful to the community for because they're technically providing for livelihood. So that's where the gratitude part comes in. So I get
Yes.
that. But going at it from a pure business perspective, you've built a brand over the last 1 year around the name Jeremy Knows. So if we go just from that precedent, if I have to choose one thing from a business perspective, it's going to be Jeremy Knows because everything that has happened for you and with you in the last 1 year, that comes from those two words, or that comes from that brand name, which is Jeremy Knows. That's where I would say if you have to put it, it could be okay. I would again. I think everyone was told you putting Jeremy Knows in the title makes a ton of sense to me, just because that's the brand. But if you have to add gratitude somewhere, it just becomes too long. Then, to be honest.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm like,
It could be
I would
this.
like to keep it very
It
simple.
could be this. So it's like it could be gratitude coin by Jeremy Knows. So it's like it's
Sure,
Moonbirds by Proof, something of that sort, or MAYC by BAYC, something of that sort. I would say.
sure.
So the name itself is not like all four letters, but it connects back to the brand. Also, that gives us future leverage as to buy Jeremy Knows implies you're not building the whole brand into a single coin or single token. That gives you leverage and open, like it basically doesn't tie you down to this NFT only. If you want to launch multiple NFTs in the future, it just keeps that option open as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what about the reverse? What about the Jeremy Knows token of gratitude?
Yeah, that also works. Both work for me.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. It kind of goes both ways, right?
Hmm.
It's like most people, I imagine most people who will mint this are buying it as a token of gratitude to me, and then I can give them a token of gratitude in return.
Yep.
It's kind of nice.
Gratitude flowing all around.
Yeah.
I'm putting these two
Okay.
down.
Well,
You have to make that call.
let's just make decisions. Let's just make decisions then. Let's just go with it. And if like after a week we totally hate it, we'll just change.
Yeah. So is it Jeremy Knows token of gratitude?
Yeah.
Cool. The name is done.
It's definitely not the easiest thing to say, but I think the concept is worth the
Difficult.
vocal jumble. Yeah. It doesn't really abbreviate well either, does it? JKTG.
See, abbreviations just catch on. It's like in my understanding, none of the abbreviation makes sense in the beginning. Like when before VeeFriends, VF would not have made any sense, but it just catches on. So I'm not too honestly, I'm not too worried about that. It will just catch on, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. We have that
Cool.
done. Okay.
Cool.
So description and metadata. Yes, it wasn't meta description. It's called metadata. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
That's more or less done, right?
description is within the metadata. Like the metadata is comprised of the description, the properties, and any other details.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the description is done. I probably will tweak it a bit, but it's done.
Cool.
And the properties I'm keeping quite simple. I think they're set too.
Cool. Minting price is 0.055, right?
Yeah, and I see this breakdown you sent me,
So
which is very helpful.
Yeah, it's just a random ass Excel sheet too. So I'm a visual thinker. I would need to see numbers to think about it. So this is where the money part that we were talking about earlier. So this is just to break it down. First column is the price, which is fixed. Number of NFTs we would sell. Third column is the ETH, the amount of ETH we would make, and then all the other columns after that is total amount of money or raw cash we would have, depending on the ETH price. I've just taken from 2,000 to 3,200 because of.
Yep.
I don't think it will go beyond 32. It might go below 2, but this just gives us a realistic sense of how much cash we could have, how much we could liquidate, and things like that.
Yeah, that was the other thing on my mind yesterday. Just watching the market, it's like, having a plan of like how much, what percentage of the
mint to immediately trade into stable coins. Because I don't want to run the risk that we can't sustain the SMS service. So like I think it's probably better to be conservative in this sense, even like 70 or 80%. Although I'd love to hold the ETH and I value it more. The alternative to that would be taking out debt against the ETH to pay for operations. Which is a solid strategy because then you don't have to take profits on the value. It invites more risk. Like there might be a balance of the two that's worthwhile. Like having 50% cash on hand and then taking a loan on like 10% at a time to fund costs as needed. I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
See, that makes sense, but that is a risky proposition because we never know with crypto how and where things would go. And
Yep.
I personally wouldn't do it. If we can like get a real world loan or real world debt on our ETH, yes, always. Like I always prefer debt over using actual cash in hand in a business. But in terms of crypto debt, it's just too weird and it's just too difficult to predict. And it's like, in order to be too much clever, we kind of take up a loan and save the ETH. And if something drastic happens and market crashes, we end up losing all the reserves we have for the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about the price, go ahead.
The smarter way to go about it could be that if we have someone who understands this, who is a DeFi expert, who has been doing it for a few months, I would say. Years is not that realistic. Maybe someone who has done it for a year and a half. We can see their track record on chain as to what they have achieved. If we can find someone like that to help with it, then yes, then I would love to do it. But us doing it is not something which I would suggest.
That's a great idea. I actually have two people that come straight to mind who have been doing it for a couple years, maybe a year and a half. Okay, let me make a note to reach out to them. Cool. I was gonna say the other thing to be aware of is the contract is built in a way that we can change the price if needed. My only concern in doing that, like for example, if ETH takes another dive this week, which it might, I mean, the thing that has everybody on pins and needles is not knowing if this is a correction or because it's not even a trend change. Like anyone with basic knowledge could have told you we were in a downtrend. We had like a very short-term uptrend, and like like micro, we've got a little bit of an uptrend. Like let me look at the daily. The daily is bloody. Oh boy. I mean, yeah, it's not a pretty daily chart. You can't really say it's a higher low unless it depends. Like if you want to be
it's a lower low from 32K to 30K now. Or 29 something.
Yeah, it's a higher low than the July lows, but
it's a higher low than March 2020 lows.
That's right. So, yeah, the chart is all weird right now. I wonder what the experts are thinking. But what I was gonna say was, Yeah,
Market is trending down.
Market is trending down. If ETH takes a dive, we could sell it at like say 0.075 or whatever. And if the market recovers, we can change the price to 0.05. But I would kind of view it as like almost in like a Dutch auction sense, like a best Dutch auction is where everybody pays the clearing price. Maybe tell me this isn't necessary, but like if the market recovers and we can transact at a higher US dollar value, like I'd want the people who paid 0.075 to be able to get a refund. Yeah, I don't know. Even as I say that, I'm like, it's so much more complicated than that. And then for the price of gas, to refund 0.02, it's kind of like, is it even worth it? They'll get 0.015 or 0.013.
Yep. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What is your gut about the 0.055 versus 0.075?
See, I think what you said earlier last year night when we were chatting as to pegging it to $150 and going from there and adding what we are discussing right now to it, what we can do is we can probably put it in a way that we would review it weekly or every 10 days till the mint is open. And every week on a Sunday or whatever day we decide, we will repeg it to $150. So that way we have a same price which everyone is paying for that week. If something big happens in the week, most probably it is going to be a downtrend and not an up one.
Yeah.
If that happens, then that loss is taken by us and not by our holders. So that way that's our loss, which I think is something which we can take. The best thing the thing which we would not want to happen is for the holders to take a big loss. So we can like repeg the price every week because this auction this mint is going to be open for a pretty long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, and it's a gas cost every time we change the price, but I think it's better we keep it honest.
Yep. And if let's say we go at $150,
it's about 0.065, 0.064 right now.
So we'll have to change that. So we'll have to also decide which day and what time we're going to peg it because we'll have to let people know beforehand, before the mint even starts in the FAQs that like this is the way the prices are going to be set. Let's say today's Tuesday, right? So every Tuesday in the morning at XYZ time, it will be repegged, and then at this time the contract will be updated.
Yeah.
And if we go at 150, I'm just redoing the calculations that we were looking at 150. Yeah, 150. So okay, that's that's cool. So what time and how do you want to do this? Does that make sense to you?
I think we wait till the last minute. I think like 24 hours from now, like 1 p.m. tomorrow. It'll also be a little dependent on Rax's availability to deploy the contract. It'll be easy enough for him to make that adjustment before he deploys it, but he'll need to deploy it, and then Marcelo will need to point the minting DApp at it. So yeah, I think 5 to 6 hours before the launch. I'd really love to hit 555 tomorrow. So yeah,
that makes sense. And this also, it's like if you are repegging it to $150 regularly, this also makes the planning part of it much simpler for us. because we'll know how much. Like basically, we can plan for number of NFTs rather than having too many variables in the. Rather than having that big ass chart I sent
Right.
you, it would be like for 3 columns. Literally, it would be 2 columns. Number of NFTs and money we made, so that we can then work off of it and plan our finances better. So, do you want to make it like 1 o'clock every Tuesday? 1 p.m. every 1 p.m. EST every Tuesday.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Where is the Notion now? Yeah. I'll mint. Where is the mint? Oh, yep. Oh, dude, I can't edit it. You'll have to edit it. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
Great.
And I think we can honestly. I don't want to put this up as it is. I think you should just tweet it out and get feedback from the community once, because luckily we have the luxury of time. Don't have to do it immediately. We have like 24 hours. Just tweet it out, get people's opinion, get the community's opinion as to if they are okay with something like that, or maybe someone can give us a better idea as to how to execute this.
Yeah, no, it feels equitable to me.
Cool.
And like you said, it's also just, it makes our financial planning a lot simpler.
Yep. And the price will update at 5:55 p.m. every Tuesday.
Yeah, rough. Yeah, we could say yes. I think it'll be a little rough. Like it'll depend on, like, I can't update it myself. Well, maybe Rax can actually teach me
Yep.
how to. Maybe he can authorize me in the contract.
Yep. So I have like the FAQ question that you had put in. I just updated that and I sent it to you on WhatsApp. So that is done. But we are there. We are almost there. Anything else left?
What is left? We talked about the TOS. We talked about the
Yep.
LLC. We talked about the name. I'm gonna talk to Marcel about the website today.
We talked about the design, the 1:37 p.m. article, the
Yes.
description and metadata,
No,
and
I think that's
financials.
pretty much it.
One thing I forgot. Wade, did you send stuff to him? Did you hear back from him?
No, I
he's
didn't
right there.
send my stuff to Wade. There's always something. There's always something. Where did I put that list? Here it
It's
is.
like, I think you guys are going to sit at VCon and like you'll tell him what you need to do, and like in half an hour you'll just sort it out sitting right there. That's the feeling I'm getting right now.
Well, yeah. It is a sooner the better situation. Sirat, I see you. Sirat keeps requesting up and jumping down. I'm not sure if they want to come up or not. Okay, so let me add Wade on this follow-up list. Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, I think we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Yes, I'm very happy and very excited. Like we are taking the first step of a very long building process now.
Yes.
It's
gonna be exciting to be able to like do some interviews for new hires and get some more content out.
I hope it's not it's not too many people. But interviewing
no.
is a very hectic process, dude. I don't like it too much.
Yeah, no. I think.
But that's your headache. I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I think there's probably plenty of people in the community. I think there's a good chance that we can hire from within the holders.
Yep,
Um,
that makes a ton of sense.
What was I going to say? I haven't done my due diligence on Michigan versus Delaware. I don't know. Like, if I Google what's the best place to set up an LLC, I get a lot of ads. All these Fortune 500s are set up in Delaware.
Yep.
But I'm getting a lot of smart people telling me to look at an LLC in Michigan.
All the companies from outside of the US that set up a remote office, most of them set it up in Delaware. So tax structure typically is the best there, is what I know of. But you'll probably know better.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that needs to be my first priority today. Oh, here comes
Yep.
Wade. Wade is going to give us the alpha on Michigan.
Hey, Jer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ash, how you doing, buddy?
Very tired, dude. I'm going to crash right after the call.
Yeah, I forget we're on opposite times. Jeremy, I had a few minutes. I wanted to just tell you real quick about my experience with like Delaware, Michigan, Texas LLCs.
Yes, please.
So I've got LLCs in actually no longer in Delaware. I've had them in all three. Originally from Michigan, and I've got a tax advisor, CPA, that I have out of there, and I contemplated this exact same thing. Now, I provide, my business provides services, and the state of Michigan does not require that you pay sales taxes because you are providing services, and they don't tax it like that. So that was a huge thing for me when I formed another LLC, even though I don't live in Michigan. I just paid a registered agent. It's like $45 a year or something small. And that becomes the place that your business, they act as your registered agent. So it was like $25, I think, maybe $50 to file the LLC. It's super straightforward. I've done it probably half a dozen to a dozen times. It's a super quick, fast process. So the question becomes, does Delaware treat your services the same way? Because you're going to obviously save a lot of money on that side of the deal. So I don't know. I had the conversation. Is it more advantageous to do Delaware because that's where people say you should do it? And I could never justify a reason why. Now it's been a while since so I can't recall the minutia behind it. But I could literally walk you through it in a matter of 30 minutes. You'd have all the things that you need to have, and you'd have it set up in a place. And then if, I guess then also at the same time, if taxes come up, I've got a very, very good tax, how do I put it? Someone who is very attuned to the correct and proper way to do taxes while looking out for your interests. based out of Michigan that I'd be more than happy to connect you with. She's awesome. So
Awesome.
that's just kind of the food for thought on that aspect.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward Michigan. I know this isn't like a business reason, but I'm kind of leaning toward Michigan just because my family is there.
Oh, nice. What part?
Like they're in Flint and Grand Rapids.
Oh yeah, very familiar.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know if that serves me to like I don't need to use their home address or anything, but like I just feel a little closer to home, I guess.
Yeah. Nothing nothing wrong with putting $50 in back in the mittens pocket, right?
That's right. That's right. Okay, well, I'm gonna investigate that today.
Cool.
I'm seeing the same thing, $50 filing fee.
Yeah,
which is
and then I think it's like a
amazing.
$25 annual. Yeah, in Texas it's $300 and some odd dollars, and then I had to pay. So my company operates in half the states in the country, but like, so for example, when I operate in Texas, I have to pay a one-time foreign entity filing fee, which is like $750. Okay. If I were to continue to operate that business out of Texas, I would pay twice that per month just in sales taxes. So it's quite substantial from a tax savings perspective. And then I'll shoot you over my email. If I also use Notion every day, all day long. So if it's easy and you've got kind of a list or whatever for me, I'll shoot you over my way to share one of those boards or something with you if it makes it easier for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, Quiet. Things are popping up. Right?
Hello? Is anybody home?
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I didn't even know I was unmuted. I just wanted to add that I'm also in Michigan, and I believe it's 75 now for an LLC and 50 for an assumed name.
Okay.
But there's a standard form you can fill it out online. It's super easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. So I should go to the Michigan Secretary of State's website.
It's LARA.
Yeah, the licensing and regulatory affairs, I believe, right? Does that sound right?
Correct. I think that's about right.
Man, we got all these people from Michigan here or acquaintances in Michigan.
Nice. Michigan.gov/LARA. Man, this has been such a long time coming. It's funny to me that I'm doing this for an NFT project when I like could have done it for years as an independent artist. I just never did. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Cool. So awesome. Right on. Well, I can do this on my own time. Good meeting, Ash. I think we did well.
Yes, tomorrow is the midday. Yes, it's probably going to start
Tomorrow is the
minting when
midday.
I'm sleeping.
Oh, I'm also gonna order some poker chips with a QR code with the logo and a QR code for the NFT to have it be con.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Should be a nice little
That
handout.
makes a ton of sense.
They have a little red border, so they kind of look like clown noses, which will come to no one's mind, but I like it.
That makes sense. Nice. I think that's a good idea. And you should probably carry that to NFT NYC as well,
Yeah,
depending on how this one goes.
I might not end up making it to NFT NYC, but nonetheless, it's all good.
Okay. Cool. I have a lot more stuff to discuss, but that's post VeeCon. We have
For sure.
what we have, and we can plan for later BD. Cool. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow in one of the spaces. I'll head to bed now.
Cool, bud.
See ya.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who tuned in, and I'll see you soon.
See you guys. Thank you for tuning up. Take care. Bye bye,
Cheers.
everyone.
Take care.
Cheers.
Sorry, y'all. I forgot to end the live stream.